Welcome to SUAANGAN. I'm your host, Janine Blake. On today's program, we'll bring you part 2 of the ICS story. On last week's program, we focused more on the history of the organization in the newspaper. On today's program, we'll bring you information on the television side of the Inuvialuit Communication Society.
Our elders are our teachers, our mentors, and storytellers. Later on in the program, we'll be honoring and paying tribute to the elders who have contributed to the past 20 years at the Inuvialuit Communication Society.
In order to qualify for further funding, a survey was done in the 6 Western Arctic communities. And the survey results indicated that most of the Inuvialuit living within that region wish to have television. So therefore, a new television society was born.
The contribution agreements with the federal government and the territorial government state that television was to be used for cultural purposes.
The kind of programming ICS provides reflects the traditional lifestyles of the Inuvialuit. The stories we have collected has enabled us to better understand our Inuvialuit cultural values that our elders had placed on traditional everyday knowledge. We have done a lot of recordings with our elders, and we at ICS are very pleased to have been associated with them, even though some have passed on. Their memories still live on with our television recordings.
Ilangit kay mautokanata tayo maktut ilangit tayo na tayo tuktuali ako nakakaman man na ICS tayo tuktuali ako titakali kulak taktin na pigi alian na chok ingilangan ke inyo nakto ne inyo na ako tiptiyon na kulak tuali mata ilya pa lutay inyo kala ko Thailand ne kulak taktin ne pag mapag-alian na chok tunito ka pag mapakahin nutakat ukaw heptigo nukat kanga kilya me beautigalo ukaw he tingkan ngwiro ato nigiego tirakaya.
Leonard Harry was a trainee in 1986. He explains what he thought of the television course at that time.
He will learn me kaulaki kapta 1986 me. Tali maulute tabrunga iliha kaktogut. Tabrune he will leave it ilihaning nakwat. Tabrani napta. Ahi tama tabrani ikayok power kangatigu tap ko ilihanik tot. You know, iliha ko tap talk tabrani. Iliha kakamawanga. Tutaranik makuninga. Ilinyang nahiga loktanga glan. Ikayok te kahalanga tamakuninga iliha rinik, you know. Taruk takapta mangkununa TV tigun. Isumalang na niya hui galoka, habang na niya hui galoka, picture galogo, ukagalogo, dahil na isumarakto nga, hunawa haperenakto, tarukto aliakto ni, habang na bialakto, tarukto aliakto ni.
It was fun. We had fun in the training course because like I say, we were all new to it. Each one, I think during the year of our training, each one of us were monitored as to which areas we might be able to take on as a role position. It was really a lot of fun, like working with the different ones from the different communities. We all sort of pulled together as a team, and that really helped us to go ahead with our training. Like, it was interesting because of the different dialects that different regions have, but it was fun. We all pulled together as a team, and I think we did good for our first year of training.
When I was growing up in Akavik, I always went out on the land with my parents and our family, and they always had elders around them, and living a life like that, hearing about the Inuvialuit Communication Society made me interested in what can television be for Inuvialuit. So I got interested in the training program when it came up in 1985, and I got accepted, and from there started with the training program. It was a 1-year training program. We did when we began our training in 1985. It was January of 1985. There was 9 trainees from the Inuvialuit settlement region, and we had to learn all the journalism parts from newspaper, radio, and then into television, how to write, how to do proposals, how to work a budget, and also on the other side we had to learn all the technical stuff that went with it, learning how to work the camera, learning how to edit, blog, script. So that all took place that 1 year, and at the end of the year 9 of us graduated, and it was a really good, interesting program because we all got to interview and do programs that were about the Inuvialuit people and their lifestyle, the elders, what the elders, information and knowledge that they had, and bridge those two together, because there was not too many stories that were recorded on television about the Inuvialuit people, and that's why I think the Inuvialuit Communication Society was developed, because there was no documentation with audio and as well the visual side of it about our land and our people in our area. So this television production allowed us to, I guess you could say, give the world a view of what the Inuvialuit people are all about and where they live.
SUAANGAN will return after this commercial break with more of the ICS story, so stay tuned to APTN. We're back with more of the ICS story.
We need to know where we came from, and that's where the elders' stories and all of their knowledge and information come from, is from what the elders share with us. And throughout the years that we work, I've worked at ICS, and we've documented elders from each of the communities in the Inuvialuit settlement region, and they have so much knowledge to share with us, and we haven't even done the amount of information that we could get, but we have so much information that they shared with us, and then we bridge that together with on the land, dealing with the different times of that you go out on the land and you get your food from the land, whether it be animal or whether it be berry picking or fishing or stuff like that. And that was that's the best part for me, because you get to we got to work in an environment where we got to be on the land and enjoying the things that people enjoy, and I guess sometimes take for granted, and share that with everybody around us, whether we were from a Klavik or from Tuk. Necessarily, sometimes you don't get to see how those other people in the other communities live, and through television we got to show the other communities and the other people what our the Inuvialuit is all about, and what we do, where we live, speak the language, the Inuvialuitan language, because it's a dying language, and we have a lot of that recorded at ICS, so that can be kept there for future generations, for them to hear, because a lot of times I think in in 50 to 100 years, there may be basically not very many people or no people speaking the Inuvialuit language. And with ICS and all of the information and data that they have there, they can go to ICS and they can listen to the language and hear the language and maybe learn some of the language from the tapes that and the footage that we have there at ICS. It was great working there. I really enjoyed it. That's I guess how I grew up in my adult life, was working at ICS, and that's how I got to know about my culture, my language. Got to meet a lot of people from all over the Inuvialuit settlement region, from Holman, from Sax, from Polituck, from Tuk, Aklavik and Inuvik, and got to see basically all the different areas that they have to share with us on the land and in their communities, and meet a lot of elders. And that's what I found out with the Inuvialuit Communication Society is that there's so many stories, there's so much good people out there to tell those stories, and I really I'm glad that I had the opportunity to work at ICS and meet those people through the television programming.
ICS has been documenting 18 years in television programming and 20 years in newspaper publishing. I want to take the time to say thank you to all the people before us who cared so much about our programs and the newspaper. As well, I'd like to say thank you to the crew we have here today who work so hard. ICS has documented hundreds of elder stories and beneficiary profiles, these wonderful stories that we will never lose now. When you think about it, 2 or 3 generations ago, an entire lifestyle has changed. I believe we need to regenerate our program with the federal government. Funding cutbacks have downsized our structure, and our programs really depend on this to be successful in reaching our people. With more money, ICS would be able to bring you 2 television programs in Inuvialuit. As well, the Inuvialuit are missing out in current affairs. We need to reach our people with up-to-date information and today's technology, with the decisions that are being made today for the Inuvialuit. Back in 1996, the territorial government released a survey that listed 160 people who use their language in their home. Of these 160 people, half of these people were 55 years and older. This was 7 years ago. We are losing our elders and have only a few to learn from now. ICS hopes to make a difference in making our language and culture stronger in our everyday lives, and we hope to bring you programs that will contribute to this. We don't want to see this happen. This is why we feel the work that we do here must be successful. We find ourselves saying how lucky we are to have a job where we can learn about our culture, our people, and our history. ICS is happy to play its part in preserving its culture and language. We are all looking forward to many more stories and festivities that will bring us together, and we hope to contribute to the wellness of our people.
Well, I hope ICS is around for a long, long time. I hope that it continues to thrive. I know it's a struggle. I know a lot of the funding sources from government for newspapers have dried up. It's been a struggle to keep equipment upgraded, to keep people, to keep salaries at a level that will hold people and make them satisfied. But I think that the struggle to keep things going is worth it. These are incredibly essential services. A newspaper or magazine is a written record of events in a community or in the Western Arctic communities. It's history that's being written down and recorded. It's there for future generations. And the television programs are the same. They're verbal and oral and visual records of what's happening, of people who, many of them have now passed away. It keeps the language alive. So these are essential services, and I think that they'll be there for a long, long time because they are such essential services. And I think just in closing, I'd like to wish everybody at ICS well. I'd like to say hello to all my old friends in the Western Arctic, and there are a lot of people, people whose names I know but I won't list because there's so many, and I hope to see all of you again sometime in the near future.
But I really think that, you know, towards the future, one would try to find ways where the maybe more of a news type information program get developed that is more current. And I know that resources are always very difficult, but I would say that that would be the next stage, you know, to get that information or that public affairs part of the mix going.
Our mandate is to preserve and enhance the Inuvialuit culture and lifestyle. We could not do our jobs without our elders. In this next segment, we'll bring you a tribute to the elders who have contributed to our programs. We're back with more of the ICS story.
I believe that we're making a difference in keeping our language and culture alive, and that the Inuvialuit appreciate watching our shows and reading our newspaper.
Innovative, educational, exciting, important, and a great place to work.
Happy birthday, ICS, for 20 years.
As Chair and Chief Executive Officer of the Inuvialuit Regional Corporation, the Inuvialuit of the Western Arctic, and the Board of Directors of the Inuvialuit Regional Corporation, I would like to wish a very, very happy 20th anniversary to the Inuvialuit Communications Society, and continued very, very much appreciation of future work to be done.
That was our program for this week. Thank you for watching SUAANGAN. I'm your host, Janine Blake, and I'll see you next week.
Everyone realizes now to have a good education means you will be successful in society today.
Some of the high school students made their own dance groups. First, we'll be looking at the
This small fur-bearing animal could be seen almost anywhere in the Delta region. I hope you enjoyed this program I have called Shooting Time.
We'd like to show you some events that were held at the Jamboree.
1,500 kilometers migok, dahil kaganga kapamain min ukiving nyo nagalan, upinakarami.
Even nakuya magtakon na si tamat-tamon upang Robert Kaptana.
Kilaluan na ako nakot, ilawit tayo mga kanga. Upinakakala na tarlo, nalokak tawuk.
To produce oil and gas and or become a major tourism attraction, while the first people can...
On this very special night, we'll be talking to 3 very respected elders from Inuvialuit who will turn back the years of how they celebrated their New Year's long ago. Here's Winnie Cockney.
I'm Lawrence Rogers. Last April, 2 representatives from the Canadian Space Agency came for a tour of the Western Arctic communities.
Welcome to SUAANGAN. I'm Debbie Gordon Ruben. Tonight we will bring you the conclusion of the panel discussion with the Beaufort Delta self-government negotiators.
In this program, we'll be talking about botulism and how it can be prevented.
As New Year's Day approaches, we hope everyone is in good spirits, taking time out to be with family and friends.